All of this is coming as the World Economic Forum is hosting its annual inaugural meeting in Dalian, China this week. The focus is on the growth challenges facing global companies. Joining us right now is a man who's in the business of linking U.S. companies with China. Merle Heinrichs is the CEO of Globalsource. It's a business-to-business company that helps two-way trade with China. It links up companies in the U.S. with companies in China. And back with us is a Squawk Box regular, Congressman J.D. Hayworth, who has been pretty outspoken against increasing business that we do with China. Merle, let's start things off with you. Obviously, the news of this recall, like the one today from Mattel, that must pose a little bit of a challenge for your company, right?
Well, not really. Mattel is one of our customers, in fact, but I think in this case, Mattel has, in fact, brought it on themselves largely. The importer, whether that be a retailer or a wholesaler or manufacturer, is obliged to follow through on the quality control of with the manufacturer that they have selected to do their manufacturing in China.
Why do you think Mattel brought this on themselves? They weren't checking the quality closely enough?
The lack of adequate inspection. It is certainly a way to cut your cost. It is certainly a way to be more competitive at a price point. But ultimately, the manufacturer and certainly the importer is going to pay the price, and it's going to impact the brand, the value of that brand.
Merle, is that something you see with a lot of companies, or you think that Mattel is in the rare minority here for not really doing these?
It is absolutely in the rare minority. The majority of the products that are manufactured in China are indeed of the consumer product standards appropriate to the country that those products are being exported to. And in fact, in the recent years, actually China manufactured product has improved in quality along with the competitiveness of those products.
And Merle, just go back to it. You said Mattel's a customer too, correct?
Mattel is a user of our services, yes.
Okay, Congressman Hayworth, you hear something like that, you're talking about a gentleman who says they're in the rare minority. Is that something that you would go along with?
Well, first, let me congratulate Merle. It's unfair to call his business, Becky, a niche. It's a niche about the size of a Grand Canyon because of all the trade going on and the business-to-business relationship. But I think a couple of basic principles we should keep in mind here. We've long heard of the doctrine of caveat emptor, buyer beware. I think we have to look at caveat vendor. And we look at this situation, and certainly there's enough culpability to go around to say that, to almost go native and say the Chinese are blameless in this, I think is to deny the very real history we've had, not only with this latest recall, by the way, no truth to the rumor that they're sidelining a toy called Poison Me Elmo, but not only do we have yet another recall here, you and I have talked before about the intellectual property ripoffs, and earlier this morning on CNBC, I saw a rationalization from one of the China Airbus officials saying, well, this intellectual property, that's really under the realm of competition. Look, we cannot continue to rationalize policies saying that the Chinese are blameless in this. The fact is there is a culpability. It extends beyond Mattel. It extends to the Chinese who, on one hand, are using lead paint. Obviously, they have to understand some consumer rules. And on the other hand, are ripping us off in terms of intellectual property.
Well, I think that the Chinese government have been very, very proactive in responding to this consumer product question. This recent appointment of Wu Yi, the vice premier to a panel to deal with this, is only one indication of how seriously they take this. In addition to that, there have been any number of factories that have been closed. There have been fines that have been applied. In fact, on a couple of occasions, there has even been an execution. So I don't believe that is not taking blame. I think they are being very, very proactive with their efforts to sort this out.
Well,
and inevitably, of course, the beneficiary of all of this is going to be the consumer. The consumer is going to get even a better product and, indeed, better value.
Merle, has there been a backlash at all? Has there been any slowdown in the number of companies that are trying to come through and get your services to help link up with the Chinese company?
Absolutely not. In fact, China, in fact, is often a de facto supplier of these products. And both the manufacturers and the importers are very focused on correcting this problem. Technically, this problem is quite easily corrected. Lead paint, for example, can be removed in the processing very quickly. And a host of these other infringements, if you wish. We indeed have enough consumer product legislation What we don't have at this end as well is the enforcement of it, because every country that is importing these products has different consumer product standards.
So is this a shortcoming, you think, of the U.S. government oversight as well?
Absolutely. And it comes down to enforcement, not legislation, but enforcement.
What would you like to see happen?
Well, improved enforcement for a starter, not improved legislation. We don't need more of that. What we need is more people on the ground inspecting the products that come through our borders.
All right, Mr. Heinrichs and Congressman Hayworth, I want to thank you both for your time. It gives us some interesting insight into a very real problem that we are hearing more and more about. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.